day.
I didn't set my line up. That's what happens when you do the 5-race strategy and qualies at 6 a.m.
That's a lesson.
Luckily, it wasn't this league.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Grid Culture Podcast, where we talk about Formula One and Formula One fantasy using Grid Rival. We're here to break down the Spanish Grand Prix, and that one was sick. Anyone watch that? That was awesome. Let's get it going. All right, man.
When did you watch it?
You know, I have been on this TikTok run with Grid Culture, and I've been trying to pick up and be a content creator. But I realized I like to watch the race early morning, shirt off, eating some cereal or something, and drinking some coffee. I can't be live streaming and talking about the race or making content with my face when I'm just enjoying myself. So I had my iPad up. I was watching people's cars. It was awesome. I really enjoy watching it in my room. As much as I want to be at every race, I'm also but I can't have my iPad and know when people need to pit. It's not as interactive. What about you?
I had a race this morning, so I ran 10K, and then we did our second meetup for Viva Las Vegas F1. This one was a lot better because it was our first delayed stream. The place was super accommodating. They worked really hard to get audio up. We had a whole private space on the second floor of this bar in Vegas. Super cool. It's just it was just us in the area. All the TVs had the race on. They finally got the audio playing. Total room for growth. So we doubled our people this time.
Nice, good show out.
And then,
what, 10, 15?
I think it was no, it was a little less than that. So last time we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 people show up, and I think we were just under 12.
Nice. Hey, you got to start somewhere, and you're building a community, so that's awesome.
It was
cool.
funny.
How was it?
It was funny because there was a girl at the first one that had just randomly kind of walked in the door. She wasn't there for the meetup, but she had a Carlos Sainz shirt on. And I was like, yo, do you think she's here for the meetup? But you could tell that she was just totally there with her family, not there for that meetup at all. And so one of the girls in the group walked over and was like, are you here for the meetup, or I think she said, do you like Formula One? And I was like, you should follow this page. We're going to start doing meetups. And she came, she brought her friend. It was funny because we didn't know we were going to be upstairs. And so I was like, let me just walk downstairs and do a lap to make sure that there's no stragglers. And there they were. I saw their two, they both had neon pink hats on. And I looked at the logo on it, and I was like, oh shit, that's McLaren's logo. I was like, are you guys here for the meetup? They're like, yeah, we didn't know where you guys were. So we just ordered some food and sat down. And I was like, no, just whenever your food comes out, come upstairs and join us. And then there was some other people. Some people messaged the group and they're like, I'll be there next week. But yeah, no,
cool.
It was really good.
So it was a delayed viewing.
Yeah, so we watched it at noon Pacific, so 6 hours after the race.
Okay.
And some people watched it, some people didn't, but no one came in oh, did you guys see that overtake George Russell did in the beginning? No one did that. It was pretty respectful. There was a couple people that were oh, I didn't touch social media because I didn't know what happened. Yeah. So it was really good.
That's cool. That's what you get when you get the real fans there. They're I want to experience it with you. That's really fun. I hope that you guys are able to do more of those and find a place.
we're set up for the next 2 races. So
Oh, awesome.
on our way
And they're
out, I
morning
was
races.
yeah,
So
we'll just do the continued delay streaming at noon. It just works the best.
yeah, I mean, as long as you stay off social media, eat your breakfast, and then go.
I mean, how many times have we like rewatched races? I don't care to I'll rewatch a race. I don't mind it.
Also,
It's
there's
something I
so many
enjoy.
times during the race that you're kind of just doing other things. Like you're looking at your phone, or you know, you're in the restroom real quick. Like I feel like there's a lot of times where I'm listening to the race more than I'm watching it, because I think there's a lot of like I love the commentators, Alex, you know, Jakes and Gerthard. Like love them. They were awesome.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into the actual race. Let's get into what an awesome like just jump. Like we watched Russell kind of just like overtake 2 cars immediately while they were just battling it out, and Norris had a bad jump and Max was able to kind of catch him, and then boom, Russell just around the corner. That was awesome. Didn't hold it for very long, but still, you know, it's I think this season has just been so fun to watch, whereas last season very dominant. This season we're watching this change in parts and manufacturing to get everybody up to that speed. Like we're seeing Mercedes. Lewis was fast in most of the practices, and we saw Russell. They have a fast car. He's able to keep third, and it was a good strategy for them. They had a good strategy this weekend, and it was awesome. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it just honestly came down to strategy this weekend. There wasn't a ton of like, you know, drama. There wasn't a lot of like, there was no crashes. There were no safety cars. There was no rain. But like race quality, I thought it was really good. It just, I mean, that late, like that, it was a very bold lunge in the very beginning of the race. And as someone that doesn't like George Russell, like it was cool to see. I think it could have gone sideways very easily.
Oh yeah.
And it would have, you know, and how many times has George Russell just completely bombed something and not held on because he does not handle pressure well?
Yeah, and I think he's just bold. I think he's a bold driver, and he thinks that he can just, you know, put his nose wherever he needs to be and hopefully hope for the best. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, we watched him in Canada take that corner so tight, and he just hit it. He just clipped it last year in Canada and ruined his race. So, you know,
but like, it was nice to see Lewis on the podium again. He hasn't been on the podium since the Mexico Grand Prix last year.
Yes, love it. It's a feel-good feeling. I'm a big Lewis fan. I'm excited that he's winning, and I mean, we'll get to it later, but there's some serious allegations out there against him at Mercedes. Not him personally, but
it's not against him. It's against Mercedes.
Against him. It's against Mercedes, but maybe even not just like an individual. So who knows? But we'll get into that a little bit later. Let's get into the race report, because this week was interesting. We didn't have any DNFs, so there was some. Oh, you had it working?
I just made it full screen so that it looks better, because it doesn't stream well if I don't have it full screen.
So I'm gonna preface today that I'm a little salty. It's my fault only, but I made a conscious decision right after watching FP3 that I'm gonna switch out Yuki Tsunoda. I'm gonna pay the fee, and I am going to pick up Gasly. They have some new upgrades, and he's looking fast. Picked him up. Took my dog for a walk. I forgot to star Gasly, who was my intention.
Yeah, so Box Piastris was the first place, and I picked her brain a little bit because I'm like, "What's up? You got the cheat codes?" Because this is 2 weeks in a row now that she's had an excellent weekend, and she admitted that the strategy that's been working for her has been really, really, really closely paying attention to practice and making decisions on drivers based off practices, which I tried to do this weekend, and then just got completely, my ADHD kicked in, and I started doing it, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about the clothes in the washer that I need to move over to the dryer, and that's why I have in the other league I'm in, I set no lineup because I went to bed and I woke up at 6 and I was like, oh no, I didn't set my lineup.
And on the West Coast, you don't it's 5 a.m. You're not waking up for that
Friday.
Yeah,
you
so
have to do everything
I'm
Friday.
so upset because I have been adamant. I have been watching interviews. I have been so involved in this weekend Formula One in general lately. I have a lot of downtime at work lately. I've been watching all of the practices. I saw Gasly doing well. I messed up. So let's click into Box Piastris and let's just see her awesome score.
Yeah, Grid Rival, can we get that fixed where I can just click on the name and go to
let's do that. I really agree with that.
Rival.
I shouldn't have to go back to the league to see. I should clickable.
Oh, let's talk about that big jump. We'll get there, but Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. I'm mad about it. Okay, so Bottas was a upset, but look at Gasly, 274. I'm so upset.
And I think she probably could have had a better. I'm surprised. I think the only thing that surprised me was she kept Aston as her constructor. I think she probably could have, if she was going to go in on Gasly, why not go Alpine? Maybe, I don't know. I haven't really looked at the constructors, but for the value, and then I'm sure Bottas was all she could afford. But
yeah. Okay, so let's go back. I wanna see.
And then the Lewis and Norris.
The Lewis was a big pickup. I mean, no overtakes for both of them, but place points, and it's a solid score. Pop out of this, go to mine just so I can cry a little bit. I dropped down 2 places, because I did well. I did really well, and I could have had an extra 130 points, and I would have been fine. I would have either passed up, maybe got some money. I screwed up. It's my fault.
The star is clutch, man. You can't forget the star.
Yeah, and that's a big key. Don't forget your star. Ting, 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 ting. It's a bummer. Let's see what you got. Let's see. You did very well. You passed me.
My lineup just rode. I literally just let my lineup ride.
And Hulkenberg's not a bad star. Racing Bulls, I feel like you need to just drop them. Just get rid of them.
I think I lose them this week, and that's why I just was like, I'm just gonna let it ride
it out this week.
Yeah. Again, I didn't make any changes to my lineup.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna figure out how to get Verstappen for next week. Because
he's gonna be more expensive.
Yeah, who knows? But we'll see. Okay, let's go back to that race report. Let's check it out one more time.
Well, the second. Let's see, because Toto Baggins was second, and so he had Max, Norris, Albon.
Albon wasn't a great star.
Yeah, but I mean, who would have known that he was going to have a pit lane start? I mean,
Yeah, I like Albon. He has actually impressed me a lot.
Did you hear that?
Season,
did you hear that radio comms that he was like, they're like, what the hell? He was like, what the hell was that when he drove off the road? And they're looks good from us. And he's like, no,
no. He's like, we lost 5 seconds. That's not good.
He's like, don't hit me with that auto response.
It looks fine to us. It's like, no.
Okay.
But
and then,
I think he was just scared.
The wolf.
Okay, so Box Piastris jumped from 4th to 2nd.
Oh yeah, see, this is what I wanted to look at was the Alpine pickup for constructor,
Yeah,
132 points.
That's a pretty good one. I only got 100 with Haas.
Okay.
Which is still not bad for constructors, but
race report. Yeah, so she most points.
And oh no, so Kimmy's ice cream moved up 2 places.
Oh, yeah, see, and I don't know what she was at before.
Yeah. But still, she surpassed me. She's now number 2. And Tyler on the Botas fanboys has been dethroned twice. He is now
so sad.
Even so much lower than he was. He was first. He got taken by Toto. He wasn't far behind, and now he's further. I have no opportunity to get back because I messed up. My star, I think, has forever shrouded. And again, I'll say halfway throughout the season, I'm going to just have to wait till next year. But other than that, other than grid rival, oh no, let's go last thing. Who was the best star? Do we think it was Gasly?
It had to have been.
It would have been Gasly. Yeah, I think who was the tops? Let's see. Let me see the results. Okay, Piastri, Perez. Yeah, Gasly at number 9 would have been the lowest person, and then Ocon, and then Hulkenberg. So, if no one picked up Ocon, because who would have fucking done that?
Hard pass.
Hard pass. I'd pick up Ricardo before I pick up Ocon.
I'd pick up fucking Sargent before I picked up Ocon.
Oh, shots. That's dirt. What's your gun sound like? All right. Okay, and another, just the race in general. I think good things, no rain, so it wasn't as crazy. But I think with no rain means Max is going to win. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just tricky right now because I feel like it's been so back and forth with the other top, like McLaren right now, that it's made it interesting because it's not necessarily just like the Max show. You know what I mean? He's not winning by 30 seconds anymore. He's not winning by these like large gaps. Norris is pretty much, I think it ultimately comes down to strategy. If Red Bull can nail the strategy, which, I mean, 9 times out of 10 they do, and with 1.9 second pit stops, like,
I mean, you know,
yeah, it's hard to say that he's not gonna win, but
their strat today was
one slip up on the strat, and it's anyone's race.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with George Russell. George Russell could have had third, but he had a 3-second pit stop. They messed up, and then they came back. They did it for Lewis, and I think that's what won Lewis, or got Lewis on podium, was that they didn't shit the bed on his pit stop. I think in this race with the tire deg of the hards, when they put Russell on hards, it kind of just. He didn't really have the speed. He didn't have the heat in the tires. He didn't have the grip, and it just didn't work. And I think that was another strategy that kind of failed for him. And I think it was it Leclerc that went on the hards, or was it Sainz that also went on the hards? I forgot which one it was, but
the other one that threw me for a loop is because I had already known the results. Was Pierre Gasly's atrocious 6.7 second stop, and still placing in the top 10. Like that's pretty good.
I mean, this race, knowing that it's a short track, and and there's a lot of overlapping because it's a very high speed track. You're probably going to get, gaps because there's going to be a crowd of people trying to get around. But overall, this race is always action packed. I think there was a stat that came up during the race that was saying like 300 overtakes went on last year during the Grand Prix, or it was like 100 something overtakes went on. It was just some obscene number that I was just like, wow, 100 overtakes in that one race is insane. But yeah, so other than the race, I mean, it was not as eventful of a weekend as far as like I was hoping to hear about Carlos and where he was going to go. And I mean, even Magnussen in the drivers conference that I watched, they were like, so Magnussen, where do you think you're going to go next year? And he kind of nodded and looked at Sainz and was like, I don't know. When is he going to decide? Because that's going to let me know what's an available option for me. Because right now it seems like all the options are available to Sainz. He just needs to make a decision. And he even said it that he's like, it's coming to the point where I've waited too long and I need to make a decision before I'm not racing next year. So I'm hoping that comes out within this next week, or I imagine it's going to come out as soon as they land in Austria, because he needs to.
Yeah, I mean it has to come out before they go into summer break.
Oh, of course. Oh, 100%, it's going to come out because other people are going to want to start getting their rosters, and we still have 2 teams that are not fully signed. So we're still waiting. Another weird rumor that happened this weekend that I saw was investigations at Merc. The police was called at Mercedes in response to an email from, if not the same email address, but the same list of people that was emailed was the same list of people that were emailed regarding the Horner sexual allegations. But they're saying that someone within Mercedes, if not Mercedes as a whole, are sabotaging Lewis's car, and so much so that he goes far as to allege that they are attempting possibly to unalive him. And I mean, that would be the worst possible scenario if you did. Like, I think we had a joke last year of Max being Sebulba.
No, it was Sergio.
It was Sergio being Sebulba, going to the back of the car, just breaking off the little thing and letting the pod race happen. So, like, I mean, the worst possible scenario is you tinker with the car on the pit lane or do something crazy and they die. Like, this is a very dangerous, high intensity sport. So these allegations are serious, and I understand the police being called. And I saw an article that Toto totally confirmed these suspicions, but I hope that it's not what we think it is. And I think that it's just a crazy fan who is just like, Lewis is not being treated fair. Even though that, I think sending those emails is,
I'm sure that's what it is. I'm sure someone's just butthurt that George's car is going to be one step ahead of Lewis's pretty much the entirety of the season. But I mean, they're not. It's not like they sabotaged Lewis's pit stop just so that Russell could win. You know what I mean? I still think that there's a lot of love between the two. There's a lot of like professionalism. I don't know.
Like, there's a quote right here from Toto. He says, I don't know what some conspiracy theorists, lunatics are out there, but Lewis was a part of the team for 12 years. We have a friendship. We trust each other. We want to win. And on the end, this is like, we celebrate each other's wins, regardless on the team. Like, if he wins in Ferrari, I know Toto's going to be like, congratulations, like, there's much more than just, like, you know when you work with someone for a long time and you like working with them, but they get like a better job, and you're sad that you don't get to continue to go to work with them, but you're like, dude, you're about to go do something awesome, like, and you want to do that, and that makes you happy, and you just got to be like, hey man, like, I hope, like, I have a friend who left not too long ago for a new job, and I was jealous in a way because it seemed like a cool job, but you know, you just gotta be happy for them because they're doing them, you know.
Real talks with Lobo.
Real talks. Bow, bow, bow.
Yeah, I think that there's really not much else going on. I think that's pretty much it. I was trying to find, something to pull on. I had seen an article about, Ted Kravitz says Valtteri Bottas is giving off a strange message to team principals, and it's like, no, he's not. He's just, there's literally a quote from former Aston Martin strategy chief Bernie Collins. She says, a happy driver, settled, focused. It's a fitness thing he's doing as well. If it has got to help him in the car, his reactions and things, because he's so focused on like cycling, and he's got his own like brands he's got built up now. He's got his own brand of wine, Ihana, to his gin, coffee, and property businesses. It's like, nah, man, he's just happy. He's
yeah,
just
man. No one
best
says
life.
that about Lewis when he has all of these. Like, I don't know if you have seen. This was my first time seeing it, but he's on a song with Christina Aguilera.
Who?
Lewis Hamilton.
What? No.
It has came out. The song came out in 2019, I want to say, but he has come out and confirmed that this is him, and his name is Xanda, Xanda, and it's on a Christina Aguilera song called, hold on, I have it saved. It is called Pipe, featuring Xnda, and it's not till the end. And if Lewis doesn't, if Lewis were to retire tomorrow and he does not make music, I would be very upset. If he.
I'm gonna cue it up for myself when I.
He sounds like a good R&B artist. He has a smooth voice, and he's got some sex appeal. Like, he already has the sex appeal, but like when he's singing, I was like, I could fuck to this song. I'll beep that out, hopefully, but if not, I could. And Christina Aguilera, it's all right for her song, but he's pretty
Pipe,
good.
right?
Pipe, featuring Xnda, and it has been confirmed. He said it on a late night talk show, I think, or a podcast, that it is him. And that's just, it came out in 2018. And that's just, that's how cool he is. So I don't see the whole thing about Valtteri being into cycling and all this stuff. Like, just because he's not winning doesn't mean, like, he was good because Mercedes was dominant at that time and he was in a good car. He is a good driver, but that doesn't mean he has to continue to perform as the Mercedes was performing in that dominant era. So I think when people compare him and say, hey, you're not putting in the work, and it's like, what? Like, he rides the track every time he gets to a track on his bike. I'm pretty sure he's taking into account all the turns, all the curves, everything. It's focus. It's hyper focus. Lando and Carlos play golf on every chance they get because they're competitive people and it keeps their mind right.
Yeah, don't they say they're like full-time golfers, part-time drivers?
Yeah, like all of it. And Perez has probably the most extracurriculars as far as ads. Like, he is in so many Mexican marketing ads and all this stuff. Like, he's in commercials.
That's the whole thing, is he got the Red Bull seat. The rumor is he got the Red Bull seat because his merch sales are off the charts. You know what I mean? He like sells
people
out.
Love him.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it's like, as much as in the US we would like to like Logan Sargent, it's just very hard when he's out on a Sunday stroll.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I feel like the next best thing for us is Sergio Perez.
Yeah. I mean, I being Mexican American, half Latino myself, I am drawn to Checo a lot. I have a Checo shirt. I like him. Um, I am upset when he does bad, and right now he is not doing good. But I'm a big fan of Checo. I think he's good. I would like to see someone else in that Red Bull. I like him as a driver, but I would like to see someone else in that Red Bull. I would like to see someone else take that seat and perform above and beyond Max, but I know that Red Bull doesn't want that. Red Bull wants Checo to be behind Max. If he's at least collecting points in the top 10 there and Max is winning, their constructors' points are just going up. So like they don't necessarily need him to be 1 and 2, but they want him to be top 10 every race.
Yeah.
So like as long as he still continues to perform, I don't see a reason why they would get rid of him. But again, like I said in the last episode, next year, and what I keep hearing is next year is a total wash because of the new regulations. Next year they're not developing anything. They're just trying to win that year. So it's not like usually you develop a car throughout a year so that when you get to the end of that year, you're like, we've learned so much and next year we're going to do this. After next year, it's a brand new spec, it's a brand new car. So all people have to do is go in there and make a fast car within the regulations of that. And the drivers don't need to like really change much. So next year, same drivers, same grid, whatever. Then the next year is when people need to start like tinkering and finding those drivers that are really going to give them the data they need. Like if like I can see if Magnussen doesn't drive next year and then drives in 2026 because they need someone to just give good data and someone who's experienced on all of the tracks, because a first year in a new regulation is a learning opportunity. Is data like So, I mean, we're going to see, and I'm excited to see what happens. Also, what we're waiting on is another thing that I wanted to bring up on top of what we're waiting on Carlos's decision. We're also waiting on a certain constructor's decision, because I've heard rumors that Ferrari has offered Adrian Newey a buttload of money.
I think he retires. I'm sure he makes plenty of money with Red Bull.
Everything I'm seeing, it just seems like he's about to make a decision like a driver. It feels so crazy. The media might be egging it on, but I see articles after articles that is just like, Adrian Newey's been seen in the Ferrari garage, and he also was seen in Aston Martin garage, and you're just like, and even they had a conversation with Valtteri, and they're like, so what do you think about them being in this garage? He's like, I mean, what I would say to him is like, hi, I want to work with you. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, Adrian Newey would be an amazing person to work with, but like, I can't make that decision as a driver. So it's like,
All right. Next week, Austrian Grand Prix. Red Bull Ring, baby.
Yep, another Max win zone.
Oh, that orange smoke.
Yeah, everywhere. It's gonna be a mess. Do we have any fun facts about the Red Bull Ring?
All the articles I found earlier were 2015. It's 10 turns, 71 laps. The first Grand Prix was in 1970. The track was built in 1969 as a replacement for the Zetwilg airfield circuit. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah. It looks like Max Verstappen has won 4 times in the last 5 years. or last 6 years. He won in 2018, 2019, 2021, and 2023. And then the only other person on the grid who has won this like more than once is Valtteri Bottas. He has won in 2027 and 2020, his last year with Mercedes. So that is an interesting thing. And last 2022, Charles won. So Max is fast. This is his ring. I'm pretty sure that he practices here on his off time, and he is here a lot. So this is just going to be a regular, practice for him. So I'm not expecting a crazy race. I'm kind of expecting a boring race, unless it rains.
You never know. Better start doing your rain dance.
Start learning it, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I think we're good for this episode of the Great Culture Podcast. Thank you, and we will be here to break down the Austrian Grand Prix next week. Peace.